Greetings and a happy December 1st to Romanians out there everywhere. You may be saying to yourself, but wait a minute, it's not December 1st, and you would be right, because like every Romanian patriot out there, I myself spent December 1st in Spain. Not on vacation, but actually working. Not picking berries though, even if that would have been immensely more profitable. This is the top 7 upcoming Romanian video games. A show that I keep saying I'll make every year and I will often forget to do it. Much like I've forgotten to make a video about the game in the background, Yaga by Breadcrumbs Interactive. I bought it, played it, finished it and recorded video from it more than a year ago. And I forgot to make a video about it. I probably still will forget, but at least let us appreciate where we are now in time. Only a decade ago, were I to look up Romanian video games released in the last 2-3 years or upcoming in the next 2-3 years, I would only have a handful of titles at my disposal. This is thankfully no longer the case, as just for this video alone, random internet searches revealed upwards of 30 video games released in the last 2 years and upcoming in the next couple of few. It is a wonderful place to be in. Not in the sense that Romania is a wonderful place to be in, but in the sense that our video gaming industry is finally at a point where you can say that we have one that isn't utterly dependent on having outsourced projects from Ubisoft, Electronic Arts, Activision, or another big publisher that treats us basically just like some kind of second-rate developer that churns out a sequel sometimes or DLC. Were this to have happened 20 years ago, oh, where would we have been now? Where would we have been? Perhaps we would have had our own The Witcher, a globe-spanning property that is enjoyed by tens of millions across the globe. Maybe one day we shall have something like that. Because I can sure as hell tell you we're not getting into Schengen anytime soon. Haha, topical humor. That being said, let's get it started with number 7, Breachway. Developed by Edgeflow Studio, this is a deck-building game, but not a fantasy one. This is sci-fi. You have a ship, you have a crew, you have to upgrade that ship and customize it to your heart's content and manage the skills of your crew in order to traverse the endless void and defeat your opponents. In a spacefaring adventure that sounds a bit like something I was working on with somebody about 8 years ago over Yahoo Mail. There's not a lot of footage from this game out there on the interwebs, unless you count one of the developers cleaning their room and fixing a bug or two. But it looks promising and it will be out soon. Number 6. Trinity Fusion, developed by Angry Mob Games, who you may know as the people who brought you Brawlout, is a side-scrolling roguelike action platformer set in a broken multiverse that changes and reforms itself and in general is not doing all that great. You play as multiple variants of the same character from different universes, each with their own abilities and skills, and a sense that the developers of this game really liked trying. And who wouldn't? Trying is a great game, but this also seems to have a bit of a Metroid-ish influence as well, which is a great influence to have in general, unless it's the other M. You've got puzzles, you've got upgrades, you've got combat, you've got platforming because of course you do, it's a 2D platforming game. And it will be out soon, but if you don't have that kind of patience, well, there's a playtest currently happening and you can request access to it. So get to it if you're really that curious. Number 5. Aska. This appeared seemingly out of nowhere on YouTube as a trailer about a month ago and is developed by the people at Sand Sailor Studios, whom you may know from Black the Fall and Boss Guard. The trailer for Aska shows you a world of Vikings and myth and legend and monsters. What it doesn't show you is that it is also a survival crafting game which I cannot really say that I'm that much of a fan of anymore. I think the entire genre should have stopped somewhere after Don't Starve. But it looks promising. You get to explore an ever-changing world and discover its secrets and build your own longboat and most importantly a settlement in which you can even do stuff like farming, all in the hopes that you will be able to face the dead winter that approaches and threatens all. And you can do that in single player or co-op with 3 other people. Asuka will be out next year. Number 4. Zoria, Age of Shattering by Tiny Trinket Games. This title was funded through Kickstarter barely a month ago to the tune of around 36,000 euros, which may not sound like a lot, but in Romania, have you seen the movie Eurotrip, the bit with the hotel? That's what it's like around here. I believe I've mentioned it a few times before. Even I contributed to the funding of this game. Not with a lot, but I still did it. And what is it? Well, do you like top-down 3D RPGs? Do you like Divinity? If you squint a bit, can you see blackguards? Then you have come to the right place. Zoria Age of Shattering will allow you to control a host of characters who are adventuring in a world of fantasy and danger and dragons and other creatures that you will probably not really enjoy meeting unless you're well prepared with steel and spell. You get to build your own base, you get to craft supplies, and you can even send your party members to do missions on their own because you should be able to do that, wouldn't you? You're a commander, you're not some random yabo who goes around picking flowers even though the world's at stake and they need to prevent it, like you see in some other games. Zoria Age of Shattering has a demo available if you're curious to see how it holds up compared to the other examples of this vast genre, and I do believe there is an extended version of that demo available for backers. But if you're not in the mood to play the demo or preview version of a game that's still in development, then you'll have to wait until next year when Zoria Age of Shattering is released. Number 3. Urban Strife, developed by White Pond Games and actually published by Microprose Software. Yes, Microprose is back, and it's not a joke like Atari, it's actually publishing competent games. In terms of gameplay, visually, I believe the most advanced one they've ever mentioned is this very title, Urban Strife. What is it, you may ask? Well, what if you took Jagged Alliance 2 and made it into a zombie game? Now, depending on what you're picturing, that may sound horrible, but I assure you that they thought it through. The absolute worst part of a turn-based zombie game is that in order for the zombies to be threatening, they have to be in large numbers, which you do not want in a turn-based game, because the enemy turn will take 5 days. But in this case, they act as a horde, moving all at once, letting you enjoy the game instead of leaving. Apart from actually fighting the zombies in a Jagged Alliance 2 style game, you also have to build a base, manage it, make sure your people are taken care of, and in general, feel like you're sort of playing Dead State, which is not a bad thing since Dead State started the whole zombie RPG craze over a decade ago. One of the advantages of me not posting this video in time is that there is a demo available for Urban Strife right now on Steam, so go get it and see if it's as good as it looks like in your fantasies. If not, well, they're bound to add zombies in Jagged Alliance as well in a future reboot. Unless that's what they already did with Jagged Alliance Rage, which I didn't get around to playing. Number 2. Near-mage by Stuck in Attic. After the success of Gibbous, a Cthulhu adventure, a game that can be said was pivotal to the eruption of the indie scene in Romania. A game that proved that you can have success by making a game in Romania that is also set in Romania and even has lines in Romanian and includes Romanian folklore. A sequel seemed inevitable, and this is sort of a sequel. It's in the same universe, but it's not exactly a direct continuation of the story of the previous game, though the cat does appear in the banner of the game. In near-mage, you take control of Ilivraja, a student at a magical school of magic in Transylvania, where she will meet vampires, moroi, strigoi, and all sorts of ghastly, horrible abominations from the darkest depths of Romania, like Maneliști or drivers from Brăila. And this is no simple adventure game where you try to solve puzzles by jamming various inventory items into various pixels on the screen. No. You actually are going to learn magic and create your own spells and use those spells to influence the world around you, to solve problems or create them. Though your path is not set, and how you tackle those puzzles really is all up to you. Just like its predecessor, the game uses a hand-painted style from a person who is currently probably very tired, but still has some work to do until the game is released next year. Probably next year. And again, like its predecessor, I hope that there will be a moment when, even if you're playing the game in English, a character will appear and proceed to speak at a speed of 50 words a second for an entire minute and have all their dialogue translated to you with 3 words. Because if there's going to be a running joke in this universe, that should be it. I also have to mention that this was a Kickstarted game, which I helped fund with very little money. And the #1 upcoming Romanian video game is Stygian Reverie. And I'm not just putting it here because it's being made by some guy I met on a forum about 20 years ago, though that is one of the reasons why it's here at the top of the list. Stygian Reverie is still very early in development, but it does have a playable pre-alpha demo right now on itch.io. This is a first-person shooter with a diesel punk aesthetic. It takes its cues from games like Quake and Painkiller and mashes them up with a hint of Unreal Tournament weaponry and mutators to create something that should feel satisfying when you're blowing up a ton of enemies with grenade launchers and shotguns, all the while double jumping your way across something that looks like Deck 16, but with extra spikes and jello-y bits. The demo build currently has only 4 enemies, 4 weapons, and a single map for the Horde mode. But at some point in the future, it should be a lot more expansive and will let you fight the cosmic horrors and abominations of the Outer Void in order to save humanity? Probably, I'm not sure. I don't know exactly at what stage the development of the story is in right now. If it has one, I mean. But it's nice to see that somebody's still trying to make games like these, especially in our neck of the woods. Kinda makes you wonder what would have happened if Painkiller had sequels that didn't suck. Well, that's it for the top 7 upcoming video games made in Romania. Hopefully, they will be good. And if not, well, at least we tried. Stay tuned for more shows by the end of the year. Goodbye, everybody.